Hola clase, today we will be talking about the preterite tense of AR verbs, alright? The preterite tense is just another way to say the past tense in Spanish. It's the exact same thing. It's synonymous. So when you hear me say past tense, obviously I'm talking about the preterite tense, and then when I say preterite tense, because I will say preterite tense a lot in class, I am talking about the past tense, alright? Obviously in English, whenever we add an ed usually to a word, that's when we're using the past tense or the preterite tense, alright? So our endings for the preterite tense are a little bit different. We have a with an accent mark. Accent marks are going to be extremely important in the preterite tense in Spanish, so make sure we pay attention to all our accent marks. The tu form, our ending is aste. Then we have o with an accent mark. Then in the nosotros form, it's interesting because it's the exact same as in the present tense. However, we do have to make sure that we are careful with context, all right? So context is going to be very important for the nosotros form. I'm going to write just as a reminder, context. The vosotros form, we have the exact same start as the tu form, but we add an is, hacéis. And then the ellos, ellas, and ustedes form, our endings are aron. So we have haste o, repitan clase, haste o. Amos aron. Haste o, amos aron. Now remember that as we're going through these, that stem changing verbs in the present tense do not have a stem change in the past tense. They're different. So just like when we had our present progressive, how they didn't have the exact same stem changers, it's the exact same thing with the past tense as well. There's not the same stem changers in the past tense as there is in the present tense. All right. So just a quick note with that. Now with our car-gar and zar verbs, there are a couple exceptions. All right, these exceptions that we're going to learn happen in verbs that end in car, gar, and zar. All right, regular AR verbs that end in car, gar, and zar have spelling changes in only the yo form. And this is, again, only in the preterite tense. All right, not in the present tense. It's only in the preterite. We do this spelling change in order to maintain the verb's sound. In order to maintain the verb's sound. All right, and I'll explain what we mean by that here in a little bit with our next example. So we have practicar. Practicar is a car verb. All right, practicar is a car verb. So our C is going to stem change to a QU. Alright, so how that's going to look, we're going to have our practi, and then the C is going to change to a QU. And then since this stem change only happens in the yo form, I'm going to look up at my chart. I'm going to see my yo form ending that has an E with an accent mark. Then I'm going to write E with an accent mark. Practique, repite, practique. Good. Now, the reason why we needed to stem change that, if we didn't stem change it, we would have, T-I-C-E with an accent. All right, we would have practice. That doesn't maintain this k sound in our original verb. So that's why we have to stem change it to practique so that we have that k sound, all right? So no practice, no. We have to change that C to a QU, and it'll be practique. Now with jugar, it's a gar verb, so that G is going to stem change to GU. So then we're going to have JU, GU with a stem change, E with an accent mark. So that would be how we would say I played. Like I played tennis, for example. If I wanted to say he played, I would have L. Would I still have that stem change in the L form? The answer would be no, because the stem change only happens in the yo form. So I have L, U, go. It's an accent mark over the O. Now you might ask, hey, señorita, doesn't that mean juice? No, it doesn't mean juice, because juice is spelled J-U-G-O with no accent mark. So we have jugo versus jugo. So that's our difference. That's our sound difference. That's why accent marks are so important in Spanish. And then empezar, we have a ZAR verb. That Z is going to stem change to a C to maintain that sound. All right. So for this stem changer, we have E-M-P-E. That Z stem changes to a C. Then we have E with an accent mark. All of these, again, have E's with an accent mark because they're in the yo form. All right? So that is that for our first side. If you flip it over to the back, we have a couple irregular verbs. We have a couple irregular verbs, and I just drew in these for our notes. Just as a reminder, estar means to be, and dar means to give. These are going to be totally irregular in the preterite tense. So we have estuve with no accent mark, E-S-T-U-V-E, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos. We're going to skip over the vosotros, and then we have estuvieron. And then for dar, it's also completely irregular. We have D with no accent, diste, dio with no accent mark, dimos. Again, not going to worry about the nosotros or the vosotros for right now. Then we have dieron. All right. So those are our irregulars in the preterite tense. Again, this is the preterite. All right, the preterite tense. Estar and dar are weird in the present tense as well, but they don't look anything like this. All right, they don't look anything like that. All right. So there are your preterite tense notes for right now. Gracias, clase. Hasta mañana. Adiós.